Security footage from November 14, 2024, time-stamped 23/12/08, captured a young woman seated near the door, clutching a large tote bag against her chest. She was not looking at her phone. Instead, she studied the dark window, watching the reflection of the empty seats behind her. In 60 seconds of archived footage, she looked over her shoulder 3 times. She saw no one. The distorted announcer voice cut through the rhythmic clack of the tracks. Next station, Union Square. At 11:14 p.m., Elena Vance, 24 years old, stepped off the train and walked toward the exit stairwell. This is the last verified sighting of Elena Vance. The camera recorded her departure. It did not record what was waiting. 6 days before that final train ride, on the morning of November 8th, Elena stood in line at a downtown cafe 3 blocks from her office. Security footage from the establishment, later subpoenaed by investigators, showed what appeared to be an unremarkable accident. A man in his mid-30s, well-dressed and carrying a takeaway cup, bumped into Elena as she moved toward the register. Coffee splashed near her open tote bag. The man was immediately apologetic, bending to help her, handing her napkins, touching the exterior of the bag as he steadied it. "I'm so sorry," he said, according to the barista who witnessed the exchange. "Let me help you clean that up." The interaction lasted 45 seconds. Elena thanked him and returned to the counter. He smiled, nodded once, and walked out. 2 days later, on November 10, Elena texted her roommate from a bookstore 10 miles across the city. "So weird," she wrote at 3:47 p.m. "The coffee guy is at the bookstore." The text, recovered during the investigation, captured her initial confusion, but not alarm. The man waved when he saw her. He made a joke about fate, about the universe pulling them together. He did not ask for her number. Instead, he bought her a book, a novel she had mentioned wanting to read while they spoke briefly between the shelves. "He seemed sweet," Elena's roommate later testified. She thought it was romantic. The bookstore's point-of-sale records confirmed the purchase at 4:12 p.m. The man paid in cash. No name, no loyalty card. He had established presence without leaving a trace, making Elena feel chosen by coincidence rather than targeted by design. By November 11, Elena noticed something strange about her phone. The battery was draining faster than usual. She complained to her roommate that evening, dismissing it as a software glitch. At 8:34 p.m., her phone displayed a notification. "Item detected near you." She swiped it away without reading the full alert, assuming it was her roommate's wireless earbuds or a neighbor's forgotten device. "She showed me the notification," her roommate stated in a police interview. She laughed it off. The forensic analysis of Elena's phone, conducted weeks later, revealed the notification had been triggered by Apple's anti-stalking protocol, a warning that an unknown AirTag had been traveling with her since November 8th. The system was designed to protect her. She treated the warning as noise. In the flood of daily notifications, the one that mattered most disappeared with a single swipe. On the evening of November 12th, Elena left her gym and walked toward her car in the parking lot. A security guard working that night later provided a statement to police. The man from the cafe and bookstore was there, leaning against a vehicle 2 rows from hers. He called her by name. "You look tired, Elena," he said. "Long week?" He offered her a ride. She refused. He smiled, a controlled, practiced expression, and said, "Be safe." Elena drove home quickly. She later told her roommate she felt watched. Investigators noted that Elena had never posted her gym location on social media. Her schedule was not public. There was no digital explanation for how he knew where she would be. The answer, forensic technicians would later determine, was a $29 device and a map application that showed her location in real time. That same night, flowers arrived at Elena's apartment. There was no card, no sender information. The bouquet contained white lilies, a flower Elena had mentioned liking during her conversation with the man at the bookstore 4 days earlier. Her neighbor, who signed for the delivery, noticed Elena's expression when she opened the door. She went pale, the neighbor testified. She asked me if I saw who delivered them. I hadn't. Elena brought the flowers inside and immediately threw them away. She texted her roommate. He knows where I live. For the first time, fear had replaced flattery. She was not being courted, she was being studied. The sender had listened, remembered, and acted, demonstrating that every word she had spoken was being catalogued. Her privacy had been methodically disassembled, and she was only beginning to understand the scope. The timeline went dark for 12 hours following the flower delivery. Elena did not call the police. She did not tell her roommate what happened that night until a diary entry was recovered weeks later. The handwriting was unsteady. "He was waiting in the stairwell," she wrote. "He forced his way in." The entry did not describe the assault in detail, but a forensic examination conducted during the autopsy confirmed the account. According to the diary, the man told her afterward, "I know everything you do. If you call them, I'll come back." Elena believed his omniscience was total. She believed he was watching her apartment constantly. She did not realize the surveillance mechanism was not outside her door. It was inside her bag, a silver disc no larger than a coin, pinging her location every time she moved. On November 14th, Elena packed a bag. She told no one where she was going. She left her phone on the kitchen counter, believing it was the source of the tracking. She took only cash and her tote bag, the same bag she had carried since November 8th. Security footage from the train station showed her purchasing a ticket at 10:47 p.m. She boarded the last train heading toward her parents' home in a suburb 40 miles away. The footage from inside the metro car, the same footage that would later open every documentary about her case, showed a woman desperately trying to escape. She looked over her shoulder repeatedly. She saw no one following her. She believed she had finally broken free. She did not know that the device in her bag was still transmitting, and that someone was watching her route unfold on a screen in real time. Elena never arrived at her parents' house. By the morning of November 15th, her mother had called her phone 17 times. When no one answered, she called Elena's roommate. By noon, the roommate had contacted police. Officers conducted a welfare check at Elena's apartment. The door was locked. Her phone sat on the kitchen counter. Her bed was made. There was no sign of forced entry, no sign of struggle. The initial police report, filed at 3:22 p.m., classified the case as a potential voluntary disappearance. Adult female, packed bag, left phone, no evidence of foul play, the report stated. Detectives advised the family to wait. People often needed space. They would likely hear from her within 72 hours. Elena's mother refused to accept this conclusion. "Something is wrong," she told the responding officer. "My daughter would never disappear without telling me." 48 critical hours were lost. By November 18, Elena's friends had identified the man from her descriptions. His name was Mark. Police brought him in for questioning. He was calm, cooperative, and smiled throughout the interview. Detective Williams, the lead investigator, noted his composure in the case file. When asked about his relationship with Elena, Mark described a series of chance encounters. He denied any inappropriate behavior. When asked where he was on the night of November 14th, he provided an alibi. He was at a bar across town, miles from the train station, from 10 p.m. until closing. Security cameras at the bar confirmed his presence. His car remained in the parking lot the entire night. He could not have followed her. He could not have intercepted her at the destination station. Detectives had no physical evidence connecting him to her disappearance. Mark was released. He walked out of the station still smiling. 10 days passed. On November 25th, a hunter walking near a remote storage facility outside the city found a torn bag in a drainage ditch. It was Elena's tote bag, caked with mud. Police obtained a warrant to search the facility. Cadaver dogs were brought in. Inside storage unit 4B, rented under a false name and paid for in cash, investigators found Elena Vance's remains. The case was reclassified as a homicide. But the central question remained unanswered. If Mark was at a bar across town when Elena boarded her train, how did he know where she was going? How did he intercept her at the destination station? Detectives re-examined every piece of evidence, searching for the mechanism of surveillance they had missed. The answer had been with them since November 8th, hidden inside the lining of a bag that everyone had overlooked. Forensic technicians processed the recovered tote bag on November 26th. They emptied it, cataloged the contents, and found nothing unusual. Then a technician noticed the stitching at the bottom of the bag. The thread color was slightly off, one shade different from the rest. Using a scalpel, she opened the lining. Inside, wrapped in electrical tape, was a silver disc the size of a coin. An Apple AirTag. The device was still functional. Police pulled its unique serial number and subpoenaed Apple for the associated account information. The AirTag was registered to an iCloud account, mark.d.88. The same man who had been cleared by his alibi had been tracking Elena's location for 6 days. He did not need to follow her physically. He watched a dot on a map. When she fled to the train station, the dot moved. He drove to her destination and waited. At trial, the prosecutor presented the complete timeline. The chance encounter at the cafe was staged. The coffee spill provided cover for the implant. Every subsequent meeting, the bookstore, the gym, the flowers, was coordinated using GPS data from the hidden device. On the night of November 14th, Mark saw Elena's location moving toward the train station. He drove directly to the destination she was approaching. He arrived before she did. When she stepped off the train, believing she had escaped, he was already there. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. The verdict was guilty on all counts. Mark was sentenced to life without parole. The documentary's final sequence returns to the cafe footage from November 8. In slow motion, the interaction replays. Mark bumps into Elena. Coffee spills. She looks down at the stain on her bag. While her attention is diverted, his hand slips inside for 0.8 seconds. He withdraws it. He smiles. He hands her a napkin. It took less than a second to plant the device, Detective Williams stated in her testimony. She carried it with her for 6 days. She never saw him looking. The camera recorded everything. It simply could not show what was already inside the bag. It took less than a second to end her life. She carried his eyes with her for 6 days, and she never saw him looking. If you receive a notification about an unknown accessory moving with you, do not ignore it. Locate the device. Contact law enforcement.